We're going to open up our formal session on August 28th at 10 a.m. Commissioner King, you want to lead us in the flag salute?
Flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. If anybody in the audience has any public comment, fill out the tan sheet for anything that is not an agenda item. We do not have a public hearing today. And if you're online, raise your virtual hand. Looks like we do have a public comment coming up, so I'll delay here a little bit. We can talk about calendar session C. I want to make sure there's an important note on there for no BOC next Thursday, September 4th. See, I'm learning. D is public comment, and it looks like we have one coming up here shortly. Yeah. If you can hand that to Bailey, that'd be great. And then when you take a seat, if you could announce your name and address, that'd be great.
My name is Delinda Morgan. My address is 23918 Northeast Spring Hill Road, Gaston, Oregon, 97119. And I just sent you an email and it's pretty long. It's 75 pages. It's 3 different sections. One has 17 email addresses on it, which are places that I have already contacted. It's very difficult for me to email because I do not have high-speed internet. So I go to Oregon Stationers, they scan these, they email them to me. But to get all 17 in one email, it will just crash at my house. I have one bar on my phone, and when I try to send any attachments, especially 75 pages, it's impossible. So I actually wrote a note asking, I left a hard copy of this, and I left a note asking the county commissioners if they could forward to the 17 emails that I have been in contact with, because what happens is I go to Health and Human Services. They said, no, it's Hillsborough Water. Hillsborough Water. No, it's the Water Resources. No, it's so all these agencies I've been ping-ponged around. I have been to Public Works and to Planning and Development. In 2021, September, I went into Planning and Development, and Mr. Friday helped me by sending a email to the attorneys, because the co-op sent me a letter from an attorney saying, we're going to shut your water off. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I said, that's not right. You know, my water's a quarter mile. The water line is a quarter mile from my house. My meter is at my house. And the rule was the regulation, you cannot move a meter more than 100 feet without the written signature of the owner of the property. So I never signed anything because I didn't want my meter moved. I can't see at the road, a quarter mile of road. And they wanted to give me a 1-inch or 3/4 inch attachment. Well, on the plans and specs, it read a 2-inch line to my home. That isn't what they wanted to do. They wanted to change the whole system. So instead, they put a valve there instead of a tap pipe to relieve the system. It's the lowest point in the valley, and took out the tap pipe. There's no way to purge the system if that happened. So when I wrote this, it was because Mr. and Mrs. Cooper had a hardship case that moved into a trailer next to their house. So it's not even a permanent place. And they built a little work shack, a little like 8x8 work shack, and they poured concrete. And when they pounded in the concrete stakes, they went through my water line. They hit my water line. They said, well, we broke it again, but it's no good anyway. That's when I got the notice that they were going to shut my water off. And I said, I didn't break it, they broke it, you know, it's, well, okay, well, it's their property. Well, another packet that I sent is Cooper deeds. It's only 12 pages, but they were leasing the property in 1962. They didn't buy the property till 1972. Another 30-page packet that I put in was the federal documents for execution of foreclosure on my property. And it was a sheriff's sale, and it took the assistant attorney general, David Hicks, to research all of this. But the first deed that goes out after 1884 original deed was in 1972, because that's when they split the property up. I have been to planning and development many times. I've talked to Lance Woods many times, and he has said that they have no plans that, you know, okay, there are some plans, but they haven't found them. I have a stack of plans that I'm still going through to find the number that I need, but there's two plans that are 14, I think 35 and 1433 or 1434 in there that will show something on my property. I've called Lance Woods and left him 2 messages. I have not received a call back yet. So it shows that that water line was paid for, purchased by the Dowdy donation land claim. The Coopers were just leasing their property. So we paid for 3 meters, and we paid for the line to come 4 miles from Laurelwood Academy all the way to the donation land claim. Mrs. Cushman did that, Mrs. Joyce Cushman, and she owned Gemma Rodak, who was a corporation for the descendants of the donation land claim. But Joyce Cushman and her husband David were president and secretary. When he died, she became the president because they owned the property. They owned the original donation land claim. They were the head of all of the Gemma Rodak descendants. But what they did, because they had 640 acres, is they leased most of the property. Everybody did. Well, when somebody leased the property, you had to get their permission to get a water line put in. And on that 1967 warranty deed, it reads right on there, we're going to go westerly, easterly. That's to the Cooper house. And one drawing I showed you shows the line comes here and then to my house, okay? Then we're going to go across the premise. Well, that's my premise, the 600 feet. Then at the now Pfeiffer place, they went easterly to westerly because we were the end of the LA Water Co-op line. In 4 miles, if you have 3 dead-end lines, one person leaves on vacation, you just get nothing but stagnant water for a 1/4 mile. So what they did is when they went up to the Coopers and came across the premise, that's when they piggybacked the line to the donation land claim. Okay, so at night, if someone flushes the toilet, gets a glass of water, blah, 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 that water's always moving. You have no stagnation. Now they want to damage the line, put 3,000 feet of stagnant water, sucking the water out of that line. They're hurting the people at Bald Peak. Now Bald Peak isn't getting the pressure they should get. I was on the board for 3 years. We spent thousands and thousands of dollars on burnt up water pumps because we can't get the water up there. The thing that was recommended by Malcolm Marino, who actually built the system in 1967, when my line was put in, he said, the reason we have that loop line system, and one of the pages I put in here is a book that should be at Planning and Development, because it is a book written by the by Boatwright, who did the first master plan. And this book tells you that we are a loop line system, because they didn't just come down our property and give us the loop line. You go down Bridge Farmer, the last 3 houses at the end, they did a loop line, a loop line, a loop line. It's to give the water no stagnation, but it's also to help you with your water pressure, talking about Bald Peak. So what was recommended to do is a 6-inch line to my property, where the 2-inch line has the big loop, the 3,000 foot loop. Then now at the Fifers, or at the end of the loop, I should say, they piggyback to Ball Peak. That's how they did it. But if they would change that to an 8-inch line from the 2-inch loop and the 6-inch line, if they would change it to an 8-inch line and go to Albertson and Laughlin Road, those people would be getting 8 inches of pressure when it hits the separation. The Ribbon Ridge Road has 7 people on our water system. That's how they get their water. So they're stealing water too from the water that should be going up Ball Peak straight up. But if that line at the end of the loop was changed to an 8-inch line, the 6-inch line would be coming through all night. The 8-inch line would be pouring in all night. They would be able to fill all their tanks and have pressure up there. Those poor people are dying in August because of their water pressure. They have the minimum. It's awful. I have the minimum at my place because I have 2 tanks hooked up right now. I can't shower upstairs. I'll never get the shampoo out of my hair. There's no water pressure on that system because we have to manage it so that we have water. We at least have.
What is your ask for the county?
My ask is that the county commissioners send out the 17 emails that I've written here, okay, all in one email, because I don't want to be sent from here to there to there to there. I've been to 17 different places. I have also sent this package to Robert F. Kennedy, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and Lee Zeldin, administrator for the EPA, because those are other agencies that I've been sent to. Without a doubt, they have Health and Human Services emails in here. I didn't even put my EPA contact, but he was in Seattle. And he helped me at the time in 2015 when all this was going on. And he gave me a list of agencies, and Malcolm and I visited each agency individually. So my ask for the commission is to send out these 17 emails and to see if these agencies will step up. And I asked at the end, please contact them. I put your email, I put Representative Lucetta Elmer's email, and I put the LA Water Co-op's email. And I said, please help them with any help you can provide, including expertise, materials, work, and or money as soon as possible. We are elderly. Disabled veteran, my husband, retired operating engineer, 701, me. I'm 69, my husband's 72. At the time that I went in 3 years ago to see Mr. Friday, we were just under 70, and the people that got the hardship case got it because they were 70 years old. But because somebody gets a hardship case doesn't mean you cause hardship to the person that bought the line. Mrs. Cushman persisted.
Excuse me, Delinda, we were having a conversation out there, and my recommendation to you was we can't, in other words, there's nothing that the board today with all this information is going to be able to, in other words, say, yes, we'll do this or that. You did send us the emails.
Yes, the
And
emails
there's
are
a-
there, and I wasn't gonna take your time in an answer. I don't need an answer today. If you can send these emails out,
Okay.
I was hoping
One-
we'd get help.
One question, I know that what I would like to do is I would like to spend some time with county council, basically looking at whether or not this is a civil case. And if it is a civil case, we would basically, I don't want to overstep here, but in our jurisdiction, I'm not clear that there's anything. I have full confidence in Ken Friday at planning. I believe over at Public Works, if there was an issue there, if there is something there that needs to be addressed with those agencies, I think that we should chase it down, and I would be happy to do that. But I think right now, for the purposes of this gathering, I would love to look at that and visit with county council, and he might basically say, because I think you've been told before, this might be a civil case.
Okay, this is the thing.
And so I don't want to cut you off, and I know it's not my job as the chair to make that decision, but I think that it's not productive for us to continue to hear the details when I would love to be able to know what it is we can do, and this doesn't help.
Okay, so let me just pull it back to Public Works.
Well, Can I just say that at this point, we've spent 15 minutes of board time and we don't have the remedy today.
Right.
We don't have the remedy, but I would love to look at that when I have time to look at it with maybe the chair.
Right. I understand what Commissioner Sterrett's saying. Give us some time. Let us review it. It sounds like you've already been in communication with Commissioner Sterrett. Let her follow up with you. She will then get with county council. Then if there's questions after that, then let's have this dialogue one more time.
Okay, there's just one more thing I would like to add.
Quickly, please.
Yes. Public Works is in charge of all of the inspection. They're in charge of the approval of the plans. They're in charge of everything. Mark Lago is married to Lori Lago, and she was the executive officer that actually, when my water was shut off, she was the one that ordered it from the office. So there was a conflict when I went into Public Works, who is in charge of all public utilities, which is our water. It's a public utility. We have to get permission to work on
Okay.
that kind of road.
Let's do some digging on it.
Okay.
You be in contact with Commissioner Sterrett and she'll stay in contact
I
with county
appreciate
council.
your time, and I appreciate you looking into this. And I know that between you and anyone else, there won't be a conflict of interest. You know, the water co-op and the Public Works has a conflict, so I don't want that to get in the way of slowing it down.
Yep. We'll
has to be
look
someone
into it.
else.
There's a lot of assumptions here, so let us look into it and
Okay.
just
Thank-
please stay in
you.
contact with
I
Commissioner
do
Sterrett.
appreciate your time, and I do appreciate you looking into my public water.
Yes.
Because it's not just me on it, there's 800 other people, and they're hurting everyone.
I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
I'm not gonna sit and take your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you
Lily.
very much.
Thank you.
All right, if there's any public comment online, raise your virtual hand. Seeing none. Moving
You got
on.
one.
Oh,
Never mind. Went away.
give it one more
Top one
chance. Did Bailey do it? No. Do you have a public comment, Bailey? Okay. Department updates is E. There is none. F is work session. There is none. G's consent agenda. There's a couple minutes on there. I would move approval. Any further discussion?
No.
None?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. H is old business. We have a walk on here. It is H1 and is in the matter of upholding the planning director's decision to approve planning docket SDR-02-25. I would move approval. Is there any further discussion?
None.
None? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. I's other business. I1 is consideration of approval in the matter of adopting the media relations policy. Does anybody have questions on this? We have
No.
Kevin here.
No, I think we're able to.
I have a few that I just would like to, I guess, I had a little conversation with Ken this morning about them, and then I think just publicly, we probably should have this conversation. Under policy 2.02, it's county staff. It refers to county staff, and it's saying what they should or should not do. And it says refrain from making a public comment. I'm just wondering, do we need to add shall refrain in front of that to be more black and white about it? It seems like if you just leave refrain and start with it as refrain, it leaves kind of a gray area. So basically 2.02 and then all, let's see, bullet point 2, 3, 4 are the ones that I'm referring to.
Shall and should have instead of should.
Well, I mean, you could do shall or will or shall refrain. When it's just refrain, why even, I guess, have it there other than kind of leaves
You
it in-
think refrain is just a little too weak? In other words, you can refrain from something, but then ultimately.
Yeah, well, I refrained from it, but I gave into my.
I tried.
Yeah, I tried. I gave it the best shot, you
Can
know.
we do a shall not in there?
We could certainly change that first line where it says should and it then leads into the bullet points. We can change that to shall. That's an easy fix.
Okay.
I mean, I think even the way it's drafted now, I'd go ahead and make the change. But I think if someone were to make a public statement that would violate the policy, the existing language would allow the county to take some sort of an enforcement action. It is even clearer with the shall.
Okay. That's all I had. Any other questions
Oh, go ahead,
or
Ken.
discussion? or-
No, just, go ahead and ask your question.
No, go ahead.
I just want to make sure, because I don't remember if it's reflected in here, but should the board, if there's a consideration to approve, if you approve it, I would ask the effective date to be 14, at least 14 days after today, so we can make sure it's posted, because there are some, with the specific language that you're referring to, I think we're going to have to post it per CBAs.
September 11th.
So currently, our policy, media policy is what? Nothing, right? So it's pretty much just, we've been winging it and it's been sort of catch as catch can.
Yeah, there are some personnel policies that could cover an egregious
Right.
situation. But just specifically, this does a better job of plugging that hole. And making it explicit both for us and for employees of where they can and can't interact and what they should. And it also gives them a process of, if they get a question, this is what you need to do with it, rather than them trying to figure it out on their own. So this really just creates that pathway.
Yeah, prior history, this is a lot more detailed than what we've had before. We've just had statements in the handbook or, general things that are probably, as we know, the long out of date or overdue.
And the social media policy, I know that was one of my concerns because of some past incidents. So this is very clear that posting, obviously, we have to be very careful that we don't take away someone's First Amendment rights if they want to post as an individual. But if there's even, the appearance of your position with the county, that's, a gray area. I know they're even giving lots of legal courses on how to address the social media concerns. And I guess this is as far as we can go then, right?
I mean, what we're talking about now is the media policy, or are we adopting?
Social.
Considering them both at the same time?
I was calling out the social media policy as like
yeah.
that was an
That's
area.
where that language is.
of
It's not
concern.
found in the media policy specifically, but
No.
it is addressed in the social media.
Right.
That's right.
So, okay.
Okay.
Right.
You want to lump them both together, or you want to do them one at a time? Do you guys have other questions on the social media policy, which is I2?
No.
Okay,
No, I would move approval of both I1 and I2 with the effective date of September 11th.
perfect. Any further conversation?
No.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously for both I1 and I2.
With that effective date, we need to make sure that we get the notifications and postings out today.
Correct. We'll do.
Item I3 is consideration approval to agreement number 44300-0004984 between Yamhill County Family and Youth Services and the Oregon Health Authority for parent-child interaction therapy program funding in the amount of $132,252 retroactive to July 1st, 2025 through June 30, 2027.
I would move approval, Chair.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item I4 is consideration of approval of agreement number 047040 between Yamhill County and the Oregon Department of Human Services for the financing of community developmental disabilities program services retroactive to July 1st, 2025 through June 30, 2027.
I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. I5 is consideration of approval of an agreement between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and Providence Health and Services for operating the Newburgh School-based Health Center in the amount of $60,000 per year retroactive to July 1st, 2023 with automatic annual renewals.
I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None.
None? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. I6, consideration of approval of an intergovernmental agreement number 185833 between Yamhill County's Public Health Authority and the Oregon Health Authority for the financing of public health services in the amount of $2,217,684.05, retroactive effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30, 2027.
I move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None for me.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Are we
Uh,
removing these SEPAs from, or was that last week that we were going to remove these and put them back on? I thought there was an email from you saying they were going to be removed. That was us. So these are the ones that were held over from last week. Got it. Okay. I would move approval of item I7 then.
Okay. You want me to read it out first?
Oh,
I'll read it first.
no, sorry. I jumped ahead.
That's all right.
Sorry about that.
Item I7, consideration of approval of service element prior authorization number 137396514 between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and the Department of Human Services for the financing of the Community Developmental Disabilities Program in the amount of $1,000. Motion's been made by Commissioner Starrett. Any further discussion?
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item I8 is consideration of approval of service element prior authorization number 135475765 between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and the Department of Human Services for the financing of our Community Developmental Disabilities Program in the amount of $400,000. That is not me. That is double in there. Just being thorough. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Is there any further discussion?
No.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. I9 is consideration of approval of a stiff sub-provider agreement between Yamhill County Transit and MV Advancements in the not to exceed amount of $60,000 retroactive to July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027. And we do have Cynthia here if anybody has questions.
I would move approval.
We have a motion. Any further discussion? None. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item I10 is consideration of approval of a stiff sub-provider agreement between Yamhill County Transit and the Oregon Mennonite Residential Services in the not to exceed amount of $44,320 retroactive to July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027.
I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None.
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 All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. I11 is consideration of approval of a stiff sub-provider agreement between Yamhill County Transit and the Yamhill County Abacus in the not to exceed amount of $13,539.25 retroactive to July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027, and to authorize the transit manager to execute the memorandum of understanding.
I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item I12 is consideration of approval of an agreement between Yamhill County Heal and Human Services,
Health.
which should be help.
Mine says health. Health. Yep.
You, mine says here.
Uh,
That's what we do here. That's what we do.
Would
Bailey got it right.
heal the body.
Yamhill, okay, I'm going to start over. I12 is consideration of approval of an agreement between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and University of Montana for the placement of students for clinical internships effective for 5 years upon full execution.
I'd move approval.
We have a motion. Is there any further discussion?
None for me.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. That brings us to J, and there is no public hearing. K is announcements. Commissioner King.
Well, the three of us did the sawmill, the tour, Hampton Lumber. That was my first trip there. I was I'm very committed to that investment that county made, the previous board, and I still am today. It was very impressive, the amount of work that they do, and not just the amount of jobs that are created there at the site, but just the impact they have in community throughout the county and surrounding areas. Thousands of jobs and people, several businesses that rely on just that family and their investment. So thank you for them and their commitment to that. Went to a welcome reception for the new Linfield president, Mark Blejan. How do you say his last name? I didn't get it.
I just got.
Blagan. Yeah, I just got Mark. But I'm a big fan of Linfield, and I also learned that they're somewhere around 50% of first generation graduates from the school there. So I really love to see that. This weekend, I spent all weekend at a soccer tournament, which was 100 degrees, and my little guy had to step up to play keeper, which was hard for him. He doesn't usually play that, but it was fun to watch. Transportation floor hearing on Monday, overwhelmingly, whether it was commissioners, mayors, lobbyists, truck lobbyists, so on, in more or less supportive that the bill needs to get passed, but and I agree with this, is on the backs of a 6% gas tax. And the two biggest concerns were the 6 cent, not 6%, sorry, gas tax, and doubling the payroll tax from 0.1 to 0.2 was, everybody was very upset about that and just what it took to that. And we'll see what happens on Friday. Willamette Workforce Partnership Committee orientation that I did, I finally got a chance to meet with them. I am obviously a big fan of what they do. We mostly talk about the federal budget cuts that they are seeing. This is they're very concerned in that, and obviously so am I in their funding. The federal government has invested into these work programs since the New Deal, since the 30s. And so, and that funding, she showed me a graph, was ticking down for almost, in 90 years now. So hopefully we can get some more of that investment, whether it's from the state or the federal government. Lastly, back to school. I know that there's a lot of anxiety out there with kids going back to school and with what's happened recently. And so my kids are in school, obviously, and I'm praying for everybody there, and that there is a great start to the school.
Thank you.
That's it.
Commissioner Starr.
Thank you, Chair. In reference to the transportation bill, I was very disappointed to see that AOC had basically taken on the perspective of a battered spouse by saying, basically, the beating wasn't so bad, so we're not going to complain. We didn't get bloodied and battered as usual. And I was very disappointed, because if you look at the wording in this bill, it doesn't prevent ODOT from using any of these dollars to backfill whatever financial hole the agency has gotten into. If there was wording that would somehow say that this money was going to be going to improving roads, only 6% is going to improving transportation infrastructure, I think basically this is a non-starter, and very disappointed once again with the majority party, with the minority party for even agreeing to take part in this dog and pony show, and once again puts this state further and further down the list of states where you can actually see commerce and business succeed. So anyway, that's my take on that. Wanted to give you the update on Northwest Seniors. Just looking at the funding reserves there, they have very strong reserves. So if there are Medicaid cuts, they're not going to be taking the hit and Northwest Seniors consumers are not amongst those that are going to be considered because they are low income, over 65, developmentally disabled, and so they are not basically those that are going to be impacted. Some statistics in 1966, when Medicaid was started, 3% were on Medicaid. Poverty rate was about 11%. Currently, the poverty rate remains the same, and we have 29% on Medicaid. So there do need to be some cuts. The HHS meeting, I met with Lindsay Manfred to talk about supported employment, and another connection with our economic development manager, with Emily Fry, who does connect our supported employment consumers with jobs. And the Empower folks are going to be working with her to get some of these folks employed there. We talked about the budget. Oregon Health Plan is the Healthier Oregon program, where basically those who do not have immigration status are covered. It's going to remain to be seen what happens there. If it's, coming from the general fund, how is that going to impact the fact that we have target on our back from the feds? From Housing Authority, just want to point out that this board is a very engaged and dedicated board. So is the executive director. And they talked a little bit about the summer camp for the Housing Authority kids. They have law enforcement and military who are their mentors all week, and then at the very end put on their uniforms and show them who they are. One of the kids went to salute and he said, "We don't do that here," and he gave him a hug. So it's very heartwarming, and I have to say this is a wonderful board that really does have the mission of top of mind. Stratus is ahead of schedule. They're pulling applications from the wait list. We have some great projects for our veterans housing rehab program that's going on there. The local alcohol and drug policy committee yesterday with all of the partners was really very telling. We looked at the analytics from our DUI campaign, and we want to thank the sheriff for, as they say, being such a good sport with those billboards. But the analytics for the social media campaign on drunk driving was really very interesting, because I guess they're able to determine the people who are engaging most in those posts were non-English speaking. It was in the Spanish versions of those Facebook posts, and folks who are drinking. So it was interesting to look at that. We looked at detox residential needs. Apparently there has been, we've gone along thinking we need more detox. Well, apparently we don't. What we need is residential treatment after detox happens. Checked with Willamette Valley Medical Center. They are doing opioid as well as alcohol detox. The biggest need, according to Brian Denman there, is that they are seeing more people wanting alcohol detox rather than opioid. One of the considerations is they ask that people not have used opioids for 24 hours prior to getting there. That's a really tough time. And so a lot of folks just aren't engaging. We talked a little bit about just detox and residential in general, what we want to do with that money, but interesting to see that that detox had lots of open beds. There's an upcoming opioid summit on the 14th of October. We had a CCO board meeting talking a little bit about the OHA rates, which are going to be coming down, which will be impacting all CCOs, and that's going to be a game changer. Went to the Newburgh Animal Shelter event on Saturday, and it was great to see all the animals that had been adopted come back. Met with Captain Todd Whitlow yesterday and Newburgh Animal Shelter regarding the contracts. There are some regarding the kenneling contract. So when we have our meeting on the 11th, when we talk about dog control, we need to be looking at the animal welfare part of this, the budget part of this, the sheriff's heavy load here, and obviously what we can do. So that was a really good meeting. Let's see, Crabtree Park is going to be basically on the chopping block this evening. I'll be there to say that we're very happy to take this back into the county's park inventory. They're no longer interested in continuing the lease. And boy, I could go on and on, but we've heard enough from me today. So back to you.
Thanks. A couple things that you brought up, that DUI campaign. I got a little bit of input on some of the billboards
Yeah, I know.
that I'd like to email somebody about.
Share with Lindsay.
Before we do it next time, I hate to see just some of it's like the outlay, the coloring. It's hard to see as you're driving at 55 miles an hour, especially when you're coming around a corner. And then it's like, why are you you're almost trying to like be coy about the message. Why? Why be coy about that message? Be so blatant about it with a sheriff's badge up there, make the jail bars a little bit more prominent, and just make the message more like just in your face. I don't know. It just seems odd. I have some feedback on it.
That's good because we had a consultant, the same ones who did that fentanyl youth program
Yep.
campaign for us. So they were given money to do this. So if you want to contact Bill McGilson over at Public Health and also copy Lindsay Manfred and myself on the local alcohol and drug policy committee, those are decisions made once we've handed it off to them.
Okay.
But Bill, I think he would appreciate your input.
Okay. Do you know how many beds the hospital has expanded to? Because last time I heard it was like they started with one, and I've never gotten an update since then.
Yeah,
Is that who you were meeting with?
yeah, that was basically because they're doing opioid now, but again, they do
How
have
many is
open
it?
beds. I can't give you the exact number because I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yes, I will get that number
Okay.
for
All
you.
right. Thanks. So we had a fair board meeting last week. Overall, fair went well, just like kind of the feelings were. We were down a little bit on attendance, a little over 3,000. Up on food sales, a little bit down on alcohol, but overall, great feeling. I think the numbers will come in good as they start getting into some of the other vendors that we didn't quite have all the numbers on, and the rodeo reserve seating, or not rodeo, the concert reserve seating. So get a little bit deeper into that. I'll have another announcement, or Gary will come. He always likes telling you how much they sell in curly fries and corn dogs. McMinnville City Council, it was a pretty quick meeting. Basically, they're updating their municipal code for the airport and kind of defining or clarifying the duties of the airport commission. Wednesday, we had a COG special meeting. So Scott Dadson, he has moved on to the East Coast. He was our director of the COG, so we had to place an interim director, and that's going to be McCrae Carmichael is going to be our interim for COG. It's going to be great. And it's just temporary. We're going to take the next 6 months to start headhunting and see if we can't replace that position. Tonight's Mac Fire Board, it is at the new location out on 3 Mile Lane, 3850 Southeast 3 Mile Lane. It will not be downtown anymore. So that'll be the first one out there. Quick reminder, there will be no chat with the chair next week. I'll be helping volunteer, serving dinner for the volunteers at the fairgrounds for everybody that helped with the fair and rodeo this year. So that's all I got. Another quick reminder, there is no BOC next week.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. We'll close it out at 10:43. Thank you, everybody, for coming.